So, trailer loading, one of the most common issues known in the horse world. There's a ton of ways that I've seen people try to get horses in trailers, and probably none of them work on a consistent basis. So today we're going to show you a fail-safe method that easily gets your horses convinced that the best place to be is inside the trailer. So what's here's the theory. The theory is that we don't want to overpower the horse or try to use our strength or some kind of mechanical force to force and push this horse inside the trailer, because that might work once, twice, 3 times, but you're always going to have issues with your horse. So what we've got to do is try to convince this guy that the best place to be is inside the trailer. Now, how do we do that? We know that horses learn and understand they're motivated by the release of pressure, by comfort. So it's a very simple thing. All we do is we make the outside of the trailer just a little bit more uncomfortable than somewhere around the trailer, where his nose is at least pointed inside the trailer. So the tools that you'll need are actually critical to this, because it'll make your job a lot easier. One, you need a nice, good quality, stiff rope halter. You need a good quality lead line, which is not too long. Mine's about 14 feet long, or about 3 meters long. And then some kind of manageable stick that you can use an extension to your arm. Without these, it makes your job a little bit more difficult. The standard head collars, they don't really work because they don't apply enough pressure on the horse to motivate him to come off that pressure. You start to kind of get lots of cuts underneath his chin and his nose if he's pulling against your hand. So the tools are important. That's the first thing. Obviously, you need a horse and you need a trailer. So one of the key exercises to be able to do this well, it's not critical. I've done this with the horses I've never seen before that have zero experience, but it's easier if your horse understands how to lunge, okay? So it's basically, make sure that he's kind of moving his feet with some energy, all right? You don't want him just walking around you, and at the same time, you don't want him just cantering around you all the time. So all I'm doing here is everywhere around the trailer, on all 3 sides, I'm just going to control his feet and get some movement. So horses, remember, they're lazy creatures. They'd much rather just stand around and graze all day long and not move their feet at all. So just the fact that I'm moving his feet a little bit and changing his directions, telling him to go one way, then go the other way, and then stop and go the other way, that's enough motivation for him to kind of want to think about, you know, resting at some place. But I'm not going to rest him just yet. So that's one side of the trailer. And not all horses are going to be this nice, of course. You know, you're going to have some issues with these horses. Get some energy in his feet. But with a little bit of practice, a little bit of preparation, teach him how to lunge well, it makes your job a lot easier. So now that we've done the front of the trailer, I need to do the sides, both sides of the trailer. Just moving his feet, making sure that he understands that even on the side of the trailer, there's still a little bit of hard work for him here. Because a lot of the times what happens is you try to ask him to go inside the trailer and they just kind of pull you off to the side and they get a release of pressure there. So before I even attempt to send him into the trailer, I just make sure that he understands that this area here, there's just a little bit of hard work. So to move him to the other area, the other side of the trailer, I might just back him up here. I'm gonna let him think about everything. Everywhere we go, there's just a little bit of hard work, remember. It's such an easy principle to apply. So now that we're at this side of the trailer, he's squeezed into 2 tight spaces. He might feel a little claustrophobic. Just watch out your horse doesn't kick you as he goes by. Good. And the last thing that I'd want to do is just stand on this ramp over here and just send him side to side. Again, showing him that I've got control of his feet all around this area. Now notice I haven't yet tried once to ask him to walk in. Because the preparation is more important. So preparing the horse mentally to understand. He's resisting now, just get after him a little bit, and then back to work. So I'm preparing him mentally to understand that everywhere out there is a little bit of hard work, and what I'll do now is just rest him somewhere looking at the trailer, just like that. So right now his nose is pointing towards the trailer, somewhere around it. This is exactly where I want him to be. So the way I get that message across to him is just to release that pressure and make him feel good in this area. So you can stand here and pet him, rub on him, you know, give him a few hugs, a few cuddles if you want to give him. You know, I wouldn't go to the extent of giving him carrots, you know. Release of pressure and a bit of love is more than enough motivation for the horse to understand that this is the nicest place to be. Everywhere around the trailer is hard work, unless you're pointing your nose towards the trailer, and it's a comfortable place to be. So now we've got to the point where we might want to ask him to go in or take a step towards that trailer. I mean, this guy, he's pretty good, he'll do it well, but let me just show you the steps. So instead of trying to stand inside the trailer and pull him in towards you, you want to ask him to go up into that trailer. So try not to pull on the rope, you just give him that cue as if you're sort of lunging him. So it's just basically point, cluck, and there he takes a step. Try not, if they're motivated to run in, stop them. Okay, because what you don't want is for a horse to kind of run in there and then feel trapped and claustrophobic, rear, bash his head, and you won't be able to back him up. So he needs to be able to go up, and also, more importantly, he needs to be able to back up. So what I'll do now, once he's here, he's nice and relaxed, I might ask him to back up. So now, I might ask him to back up from this location because I don't want to be in the situation where he feels trapped. So this is a good location. Just cluck to him a little bit. He goes out, I release that pressure and rub him. And then I just repeat that process a few times. So every time I ask him to go forwards, he goes up. I don't let him go all the way up. You can see how motivated he is to go up in there. But I stop him and then I just gently ask him to back up. So now that the horse is kind of convinced that this is the nicest place to be, he's not worried about stepping up onto the ramp, I can back him up a little bit. I'm safe to ask him to go all the way in. So remember, don't pull the horse, just suggest for him to walk in. You know, don't pull on that rope. Good. Now, if your horse stands in there, great. But if you see what he's doing right now, he's backing up. I'm going to let him back up, and as soon as he gets off that trailer, I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive with him. I'm going to say, you want to be out here? That's great. Be out here. But you're going to work hard. You want to back up faster. You know, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. I'm going to convince him that the nicest place to be is inside that trailer. You know? So let's see what happens here. That was much better. Just one correction, and he figured it out. So I'm going to ask him again to go on, and I want to see, does he have any issues being inside that trailer? If he does, he's going to want to back up again. There you go. He stopped by himself. I might ask him to walk back in. Good. So as you can see, he's not really motivated to come off the trailer anymore. So now that he's in here, I just make him feel like this is the best place in the world. I scratch him, I rub on him, I make him feel good about being in here. Out there, I just made it more uncomfortable. In here, I make it more pleasurable. Very simple principle, very simple concept. So I got a couple of tips for you to make this really, really good. Or actually 3 tips. The first tip is, don't get into a fight with your horse. If you feel like he's pulling back on you, he doesn't want to go left, doesn't want to go right, let him go where he wants and just make that area difficult to be in. So say he wants to back up, then I'll back him up a lot faster than what he wants to back up. He wants to go off to the right, I'll take him off to the right and I'll do a lot of lunging and sending and turning and stopping and sending, and then I'll see again whether he wants to go again to the right. More times than not, they very quickly get convinced that they don't want to be in the place that they used to want to be. So don't get into a fight. Let him go where he wants and work him in that area. Then bring him back to the trailer and rest him. And of course, the second tip is very, very important. Don't try to do this on race day. Don't try to do this on a day that you need to get your horse inside the trailer. Do it on a day where, you know, you've got nothing else to do, you've got time, you can work with your horse, you don't have to get frustrated, you don't have to get angry with him, you can give him the time to understand, you can work with him. So plan a day or even a couple of days to work with your horse when there's no rush to get him in. And the third tip is that the horse that you are 100% convinced that this horse knows and wants to be inside the trailer because he knows it's the nicest place to be. Now the way to do that, the way I do that at least, is that I give him a lot more space to make mistakes. You know, I don't protect my horse. I ask the question, are you really convinced? He'll either say yes or he'll say no. If he says no and he tries to go around the side or something like that, then obviously I've got more work to do. If he trots straight on with me from a distance, then obviously we've done a pretty good job and we can stop there. So, to really convince this horse, I want to make sure before I even start, I need to make this area just a little bit more harder work to be in. So instead of trotting him around in a circle, I'm going to canter him around. I'm going to change directions, push his shoulders. Get after him a little bit, get after him. Get after him. Say, this place is horrible. You don't want to be anywhere outside of that trailer. It's nasty. You know, you're losing too much weight. I'm going to give him more rein. Come on, canter. Go, go, go. And now, ready? I'm going to give him all the rope that I've got. I'm going to see, where does this horse want to go? He wants to go inside the trailer. I'm going to go in there with him. And I'm going to rub. So for me, that's totally convinced me that this horse doesn't want to be on the left-hand side of the trailer, on the right-hand side of the trailer. He just wants to be right in here because I gave him all the opportunities to make the mistakes that he wanted to make, and he chose. He mentally had to make a decision, a choice, whether he goes that way, this way, or in. And he chose the right choice. Therefore, job done. So guys, that's how to solve the trailer loading issues. Give it a go. Go out and try it with your horse. You know, I'm always striving to do something better, to be a better horseman, to be a better horse trainer, to be, you know, better at communicating with my horse. So any issues your horse has got, go out and try to fix them. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys have learned something from this. And if you go ahead and you try this, which I do encourage, obviously, and you find that you face some difficulties, some issues, something's not working, you're not getting it right, then don't worry about it. Just give us a call, follow us on Instagram, or send us an email or something like that, and ask a question. And I'm more than happy to give you the response, to the best of my ability. And hope to see you guys soon.